What's up guys, welcome to another video. So today I'm going to be sharing some healthy eating hacks. Having a healthy diet can be really challenging sometimes, especially if you haven't got time to do meal prepping. Maybe you've got a busy schedule in general and you haven't got the luxury to always be eating at home and making your own food. It could be a cost thing, or it could be the fact that you don't actually enjoy eating vegetables but you just know you need to get them in. I was thinking, what are some hacks that I do which I can sneak some extra greens in my diet, keep up the healthy meals as much as I can, and just in general keep going with my healthy diet. And I could definitely think of a good few. So today's video I'm going to share those with you, and yeah, let's just cut the intro and let's just get straight on into it. Okay, so hack number one, I want to talk about sauces. Now sauces are a great place to get some vegetables in and you can mask it with flavour. So an example would be, I love making a sauce using butternut squash. So what I do is I chop my butternut squash up, I steam it, then I chuck it into a blender, and then I add in like water. Sometimes I'll add in a little bit of milk if I want it a little bit creamy, or put turmeric in, all my herbs, my flavorings, salt, pepper. You can actually like blend in some spinach if you want to get some extra greens in there. Also parsley, oh my god, fresh herbs are amazing, like parsley, basil, things like that. They have such strong flavour, and honestly you will not know that you're having butternut squash or whatever you decide to make your sauce with. It's exactly the same as doing like a tomato sauce. Obviously tomato sauce is made from tomatoes, so doing other variations with other vegetables, like get creative. And things you can pair the sauce with are things like quinoa and grains and rices and things like that. Pasta, I like to use it as pasta sauce. If you are into like that whole mac and cheese thing and you want that vegan version, I don't eat yeast, but if you add yeast to it then you can kind of get that cheesy flavour, and actually with the butternut squash you can make this kind of like vegan mac and cheese taste and add that to pasta. That's really good. But I also add it to salad, so I use it as salad dressing. Whatever I have left over I always store in a little pot as well for the next day, and then I pour that over my salad dressing. Also another thing thinking about it, to blend into your sauces are avocados. Get some healthy fats in there, super easy, and it also helps that creamy texture as well. Talk about smoothies. Now smoothies are a fantastic way to get in so many nutrients and also cater it to what you need. So smoothies are also a great one if you are trying to gain weight in a healthy way, because you can add in your nut butters, you can add in avocados, you can add in even like your coconut milks and anything a little bit more higher calorie, like high density, you can add into a smoothie. Blend that all up with some fruit. I mean, if you add fruit to it, that's going to mask the flavour massively. You can also add in like frozen vegetables, so you can add in courgette. Courgette's actually a really good alternative to bananas if you're not hugely into bananas but you need that consistency. Frozen courgette will actually give you that as well, so you can try that, and the taste you can't really taste as well. Other people have tried cauliflower. I haven't tried that, but some people are into it, so yeah, you can kind of mask anything. But also your greens like spinaches and any kind of kales and anything like that, pack it into a smoothie, add a bit of fruit in there, bit of milk, whatever you like. You can even add your protein powder in there as well if you need to up your protein intake. So hack number 3 is make your breakfast the night before. So this is something I do every single day. It saves so much time in the morning. If your excuse is I don't have time for breakfast, no, make it the night before. You can even do a whole week's batch of breakfast if you really wanted to. If you like oats, you do overnight oats or chia puddings. That's a real go-to for me. You can, even if you're gonna have a smoothie, if you're gonna do that step I said before, you can actually put your ingredients into a bag and prep that and just chuck it in the freezer. You could do that a whole month's worth in advance. I mean, it depends how big your freezer is, but do you know what I mean? You could do it like 2 weeks at a time, and then just get out in the morning, chuck it in the blender, and you're good to go. Hack number 4 is start your day with some warm water and lemon. If you don't want warm water, then just have like room temperature water. You don't want the water to be too hot, but you don't want it to be too cold, because if it's too hot or too cold, it's actually harder on the digestive system. So you want it kind of in the middle. It'll really get everything going. It really also hydrates you. You need that water first thing in the morning, but it just really sets you up really well for the day for your digestive system, and it will just do your health a world of good. Hack number 5 is flavorings and herbs. Right, this is something I actually learned more recently when I was at college, but there's actually so many health benefits in just dried herbs. So when you're cooking your dinner, sprinkle some dried herbs into your mix, whether that's basil, dried oregano, thyme, whatever you like to use, because there's actually loads of health benefits. So get them in and they taste really good. The other one that's going to come at no surprise, because I love it so much, is turmeric. Turmeric is so anti-inflammatory, it's so good for the body. So yeah, I like to have my turmeric shots in the morning. That's like a separate thing, but for this hack I'm talking about just sprinkle it into your your meals, your dishes. Like a lot of the time you won't even taste it. Like if you had like a stew or something, just put a little teaspoon in there, you probably won't even taste it that much. I also, like I said earlier, put turmeric into my sauces. I put turmeric into like salad dressings. Like there's so many places you can pop it in, and it's so good for the body, so I really recommend that. Also ginger, I love a bit of ginger. That gives a nice heat to your food as well without being like too spicy. Or alternatively, you could chuck some ginger in with your lemon water in the morning if you just want to put a couple of slices in. But yeah, that's also really great for you. It's very anti-inflammatory as well. Okay, so hack number 6, I think it's number 6, is putting some spinach and some greens and just your salad leaves into hot meals. So as soon as you add like the spinach, for example, to a hot dish, it wilts down and it goes, honestly, you won't believe how much salad you could get into a hot dish without even realizing. Like half a bag of spinach will wilt down to hardly anything, and it's so easy to eat and get into your meals. And this is actually what I was doing last night. I was making a tomato pasta dish, and I just realized I didn't actually have that many greens that day than I would have liked. So I got some spinach and I added it to the dish and I just cooked it in, and I got so much in it. Hack number 7 is freezing food in advance. So every time you make dinner, always just make that little bit extra. This way, this kind of skips the meal prep as well. So this is kind of like 2 hacks in one. Sometimes when people say, you know, meal prep is a hack, and it is, but even if that isn't doable for you, then what I would recommend is that every time you have dinner, make a little bit extra and do that as your meal prep. So you're gonna make dinner anyway, just make more and then freeze some like that extra portion in the freezer. And if you do that every time, you'll start bagging up like, you know, a couple of different meals in the freezer. So every time you kind of get that moment of I'm really hungry, I can't be bothered to cook, and you're gonna go for something not very healthy, you're like, actually, I've got a bit of that left in the freezer. Grab one out and you're still, you know, on your healthy kick. Hack number 8, still talking about freezing, is that there's 2 things I want to talk about this hack, is with fruit and vegetables. So firstly, if any of your fruit and vegetables are just about to go bad and you haven't got time to eat them, then freeze them, because you can still use them like when they're frozen. So you could do that, but also actually sometimes, you know, even buying your berries, for example, and certain fruits already frozen, sometimes their vitamin C content is actually higher when they're frozen than you buy them fresh, because that all stems from the picking process of when they were picked, and how long, you know, they've been out in the air and that kind of stuff, because fruit and vegetables do lose nutrients, you know, as they kind of sit on the shelves basically. So if they're frozen, if they've been picked and gone straight into freezing, then actually there could be more nutrients in there. So it's actually could be better for your health, and also usually cheaper. So there's another little hack in terms of trying to get the most nutrients you can from things like, especially like fruits. Okay, so hack number 9 involves these ice cube trays. Now I can't take credit for this hack because this isn't one that I've even done. This is one that I've seen, but I thought it was so good I wanted to share it with you guys. So with olive oil can actually go bad quite quickly the more the oxygen gets into the bottle, and it also depends on what kind of, you know, bottle you've bought. Basically, you're always best to go for the ones in the glass dark jars, like the good quality ones. That's when they're going to have the richest amount of, you know, nutrients in there. But the hack is, if you get an ice cube tray and then you pour the oil onto the ice cubes and then freeze it, every time you need some oil you can get the ice cube out and use that, and it means it's retained like more of the nutrients and the, like, for example, the vitamin E and all the healthy fats in there. They're retained much better when they're frozen. So yeah, that's actually another little hack, and I thought that was really good. And you can also do the same for, like, if you want to add in herbs. I've seen the same thing done for passata. If you have like a passata, you know, tin or whatever you've used and you can't finish it, then you can freeze the other bits in portion sizes, so if you ever need it you can grab one out and use that in your cooking. So yeah, it's also a really good, you know, like zero waste hack as well. And that's actually reminded me of another hack, so that actually brings up to hack number 10, which is perfect. It's nice to have like a nice round number. Is also keep your seeds in the freezer if you can. If you haven't got space in your freezer, at least keep them in the fridge. So things like, for example, flaxseed, like anything ground as well especially, but in general seeds, so flaxseed, sunflower seeds and all these kind of things, keep them in the freezer, because it just means it retains the healthy fats in there for longer. So when I was doing all the seed cycling, like I keep my flax seeds always in the freezer, because once they're ground, you know, they're open to the oxygen and you can lose a lot of those healthy fats and, you know, the quality of them. So yeah, keep them in the freezer and it retains it for much longer and you get more health benefits. I absolutely love hack videos. There's actually an Instagram account called Blossom. Does anyone else follow it? Because I'm obsessed. I love watching it. Like, like even just watching like random hacks about like clothes and like cutting up stuff and making different things. I just think it's so cool. So yeah, I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please do give it a big thumbs up to let me know. And also, if you haven't already, come join the family and press that subscribe button. I'm trying my best to post videos as much as I can at the minute, and I hope you guys are enjoying the content. To my side right now, I'll pop a video if you want to go see more from me. And yeah, that's what I have to say. Have a wonderful day, guys, and I'll see you in the next video. Mwah. Bye.